Good evening, everyone. Today is November the 9th, 2021. Most gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, God, for yet another opportunity of prayer. Thank you, God, for waking us up this morning. We thank you, God, for allowing us to see at this part of this day that you allowed us to see, oh God. Ask you, God, that you just continue to bless us, that you continue to love us. Thank you, God, for the gift of salvation, oh God. Ask you, God, that you continue to comfort those that are going through loss, oh God, as well as be with our students, be with everybody that's traveling over the highways and byways and airways, oh God. I ask you, God, that you would grant them safe travel. Oh God, I ask you also, God, that you would look on the family of Julius Jones on this evening, as well as his parents, everyone that's involved with that. Oh God, we ask you, God, that you will touch the heart of Governor Stitt there in the state of Oklahoma. Oh God, and spare this young man's life. Oh God, we ask you, God, that you will intervene on his behalf. Oh God, we ask these things, oh God, as well as that you will bless our viewers tonight, bless our conversation as well as my guest and her family as well, oh God. We ask all these things in the mighty and the matchless name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Good evening, everyone. As usual, welcome to the show. As you guys come in, you're more than welcome to go ahead and start sharing the link to you guys' page if you don't mind, so that your friends can see as well. Let's grow this audience. And for those that haven't subscribed yet, you go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. Sign into YouTube and go ahead and subscribe to the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show. That's the YouTube channel's name. With that being said, I want to get a born day shout outs as usual. I want to say happy born day to Mina that celebrated over this past week. My cousin Katisha, love you, girl. Tina, my girl Honey Brown, happy born day. Jamila Price, my man Jade Hardy, Dolores Jones as well, Michelle Harrison, Sister Henrietta Brown, Adrian Jones, my man Tom from the block. Happy born day, bro. Salute. The funny one herself, or Kendra Hill. Happy born day. My man George Stanley, my man Rodney Johnson, good brother and friend in Christ. Felice to my ex co-worker Felice, her son, I think it's Kyron and her mom as well. But Mama Powell, my man KJ who's celebrating on the day, Brian McQueen, my homie Sheed on the block, happy born day, bro. My girl Anika's son DJ as well. John Jackson Jr., the maestro himself, following his father's footsteps. Happy born day. I want to say happy born day to Patrick Hollaback as well. I want to say happy born day to my man Fred's wife Thelma. The great Roxanne Tanshay, please believe it, baby, who celebrated over this past weekend. And everybody else out there that's celebrating born days. I've been seeing the different born days over the week. I want to say congratulations to my cousin Aunt, and as well as Jody, on my cousin Devin and her husband getting married over this previous weekend. I want to say happy anniversary to the Robesons, who celebrated many years of marriage on this past weekend as well. And if I'm not mistaken, I need to say congratulations to my guest tonight too, because I do believe that I read that her daughter got engaged over the weekend. So congratulations to you as well on your new addition to the family coming your way. I want to say condolences to my girl Yvonne Wade, who lost her dad on this past week. Know that my heart is with you, my prayers are with you and your family as you go through this time of grieving and mourning. I ask that everybody will keep her in your prayers as well. We all want to continue to keep the brother, whether you believe it or not, but we want to keep our brother Snoop Dogg, who lost his mom a couple of weeks ago, in prayer as well. He's dealing with that. Him and his family are going through that there. So let's keep Snoop Dogg as well in prayer. And I also want to say, I want to mention or say RIP to my very first favorite rapper, Dwight Myers. We all know him and love him as MC Heavy D. But we lost 10 years ago this week. It don't seem like it's been 10 years, but it's been 10 years since he's been gone, man. We miss you, man, and thank you for your contribution to music, the part of our soundtrack, our lives, being a part of that, and all the great memories that you've given us over the course of the years. Let's see. I wanted to say, I wanted to explain a little bit about what I was talking about before I introduce my guest when we get into the show or the topic of the show on this evening. As usual, you guys leave your comments and everything in the questions or the comments for the show in your comments that as well. But in the state of Oklahoma, they have reinstituted the death penalty, and there's a young man by the name of Julius Jones. Julius Jones. They have petitions that are out there right now that you can go sign. Where we're trying to get the stay of this execution for this young fella. He was convicted of killing a young business owner there in Oklahoma 20 years ago. He's done 19 years so far. He's on death row, and the case didn't hold up. He had a poor public defender. I'm not for sure. I forgot the name of the documentary, but they did a documentary. Viola Davis did a documentary on him a couple of years back. I think that's it. Thank you, Lord. The Last Defense. So look that up, and you'll get to know a little bit more about his case, more about his story. This was a young man that was accused of killing this business owner, and he was home with his parents at the same time. Didn't fit the description of the gunman and everything else. And supposedly the guy that actually committed the crime admitted to 5 different individuals that he went from 30 years to 15 years by pinning it on Julius. But he's never went on record as far as this, so it's not admissible in court, so to speak. But the young man that actually murdered the guy, according to the different reports and according to other people, his own words, he's out of jail now. And Julius has been, the parole and probation board have already considered put him up for clemency, trying to get the accused to stay. But in the process of them voting that, the execution date was already set, which will be November 18th. So he's looking at facing the death penalty in a few short days from now, if so be it. So we want to pray for the governor state there in the state of Oklahoma. We're asking God that he would intervene in this particular hive, because this is something that's pretty touchy to me in particular, when you're talking about people stepping in and stopping these murders for death row victims, so to speak, because we had the same incidents years ago with Stanley Tookie Williams, the guy that originated the Crips. You know, he started the Crip culture. And I understand one thing that I always been understood is what they tell us anyway is that jail is supposed to be about rehabilitation. When you take Stanley Tookie Williams, for example, this was a man that created one of the most violent gangs in our country's history. But yet in all, he went ahead and turned his life around, started doing children's books. And upon him getting executed, he was literally up for a Nobel Peace Prize. So he definitely turned his life around. So if anything else, I mean, I would encourage the powers that be, even though I'm like quite sure they won't see this particular broadcast. Like, what does that say to the other young people that's out here, the other inmates, when you say no matter what I do, I turn my life around, I get things together, and I'm still looking at execution. Like, we're not talking about getting out of jail, but the least you could do is spare this man's life. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California at that particular time. So from that day, I have vowed that I would never watch another Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, because he could have stopped the murder of an innocent, I won't say an innocent man, because what he did was horrific, but he definitely turned his life around too. You don't go from creating one of the most violent gangs in this particular country of America and wind up being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, which is global, that goes beyond America. So there was no reason for them to kill him. He would have never got out of jail, but he was doing good in the community. He was helping stop gang violence and helping deteriorate guys from going down that path that he started. So why not keep this man alive and make sure that we seeing it? Because, you know, we're talking about Black lives again. So again, that you can't tell me that doesn't play a part, that they want to see us there. But I'm not even going to get all into that tonight. But again, just keep Julius Jones in your prayers during this particular time. If you can, guys can find out how to go on, look up online. His name is Julius Jones. Again, that's the state of Oklahoma. And if you guys can find some petitions or whatever the case may be, and the story touches you, I solicit that you would reach out, make the phone calls that you can. I forgot the 800 number, but there's actually a number that you can call as well. Voice of your opinion that they should not execute this young man. With that being said, again, the ball is in your court, Governor Stitt, and we pray that you will do the right thing in this particular situation. That being said, let's get into my guest tonight. I've been looking down and looking away because I told her I didn't want to be all gushy and mushy-eyed while I'm looking at her while I'm interviewing her. But tonight we got the beautiful, talented. She's an author. She's a God-fearing woman. She's a mother. And tonight she's going to educate us on some different things. But I'm speaking none other than Sharonette Smart. How you doing this evening, Sharonette? Won't you greet the people?
I am doing well, Marvin. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can.
Absolutely. Awesome, awesome, awesome. First of all, I stand in agreement with you on tonight that God will have the final say in this young man's situation because we know that it ain't over until God says it's over. And so we definitely will keep him and his family lifted up, the situation lifted up. I am excited to be here tonight to share your platform. I have been following you and want to say congratulations to you for building this platform from the ground up and just watching you every week grow, grow, grow. And you're still you haven't even yet begun to tap into where it's going. How about that? Because
I
I see the people that follow you, the people that chime in. Sometimes, I'd be like, you ain't had to talk about that, but I still chime in and comment and share. But I was honored to be a part of your platform, and tonight we're going to talk about something that's really dear to me. And it didn't just become dear to me. I actually got my life insurance license back in 2013. So
Okay.
I'll digress before I dive right into everything. Um, I started a nonprofit organization for single moms called Single Mothers United of the World, incorporated back in 2004. And in 2013, I actually had four single mothers that were connected somehow to our organization that were murdered by the men that supposedly loved them.
Wow.
Okay. So we had four single moms murdered by the men that supposedly loved them that died, leaving children behind. These mothers had no life insurance, no guardianship assignments, nothing in place for these children. So unfortunately, these children were warded to their state. Okay. So when that happened, I felt helpless. And I said, God, what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen again? And I remember saying, we got to get these moms educated. We got to get them with life insurance. We got to get guardianship assignments in place. We got to do things to protect our children because as mothers, as single mothers, we tell our children every day we love them in life. So we need to secure them in death. So I remember reaching out to a life insurance agent and I asked him to come speak to our organization. By the time I finished talking to him about why I wanted him to come, he said I could do it, but I won't do it. And I'm like, he said, no, I could do it. I could come make the sales and make the money. He said, but the passion in which you just shared what you shared, he said, if I didn't already have life insurance, I'd buy a policy from you right now because that kind of passion is what sells life insurance. Because it was never about the money for you. It was about securing the families for you, right? And so with that being said, he said, go get your license and sell it yourself. So I went and I got my life insurance license. I didn't have the only intention I wanted was to make sure that the mothers connected to my organization got the coverage they needed, protected their families, and I thought that that was it. Well, full speed ahead, we're now in 2021. I tapped into life insurance, but I didn't really embrace it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really embrace it. It wasn't until my mother, who just passed in June 23rd, my mom passed. And while she did have insurance, she didn't have adequate insurance. Okay. So she had a policy, but based on her health condition, she could only get so much. So her policy didn't cover the need. After we were able to bury my mom, I came back home and I was just in this place mentally, emotionally, all over the place. But what came back to me was the reason why I got into the industry. The reason why I went and got the license. And from that day to this day, I've been on a whole campaign. In my family alone, Marvin, since my mom passed away in June, we've had at least 12 deaths.
Wow.
Yeah, total. It was crazy because they were coming left and right. Like, I mean, we had went through 2020, a whole pandemic, and nobody I personally knew died.
Mm.
And then in 2021, it was like death was coming with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, God. The thing that got me was death is inevitable. It's a part of the life cycle. Yet, we don't plan for death. We plan for life. We plan for baby showers. We plan for gender reveals. We plan for weddings. We plan for all of these things that may or may not happen. You understand? But we fail to plan for death. So, as I begin to seek God about how I can participate, how I can help, what I can do, the exit plan was always in place. The exit plan was really what God gave me in 2013 when I actually started selling life insurance. But when all of this happened, I was like, I kept seeing GoFundMe, GoFundMe, GoFundMe. And in my heart, I said, GoFundMe is not life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not fair that you as an individual would pay $1,200 to Apple every time, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere from $700 to $1,200 every time a new phone came out.
Wow.
Every time Nike put out a new pair of shoes. Every time, you know, you get the point.
Mm-hmm.
We spend money on what's important to us, what we want to spend money on. But then when somebody dies, we put up GoFundMe. Now, I'm not knocking GoFundMe. What I'm saying is use it for what its purpose is. Yeah. It's not life insurance. Yeah. It's not fair that we do everything else and our priorities are not in order, right?
That's what I was going to say, prioritize as adults, yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. It boils down to the priorities. And so I then went on this whole campaign. Get covered. Get covered. Because death is coming. Whether it's COVID, whether it's cancer, whether it's a car accident, whether somebody, get murdered, death is inevitable. It's a part of life. So it shouldn't be something that we are waiting to happen, twiddling our fingers. And if you have a family, then you should be preparing for their future, right? So I wrote down some things because I knew you were going to just kind of let me freelance about this and kind of go, but some of the things, and I'm going to share this with you. When I go out in the public, I share this. This is not just a pamphlet about life insurance. This is actually information. This is information that most of us don't think about. Things like, outside of the question of, do you have life insurance? Do you have enough life insurance? See, if you're a mom,
what was that?
Do you have enough?
Enough. Okay, gotcha.
Because if you're a single mother and you have 3 children and all you have is $10,000, it'll cremate you. But what's going to happen to them? You understand? Yeah. If you know right now in life, you can't get nobody to help you pay a light bill, and you're alive. you can't get nobody to help you put some food in the house, and you're alive.
It's sad, but it's true.
What's going to happen to your children who no longer have you advocating for them, who no longer have your voice to act? What happens to them? The state gets them. And so I wanted to come on tonight to talk about some of those things, because when I meet single mothers and I share with them this information, they're taken aback because they didn't know anything about legitimation of their children. See, this talk tonight is not just about life insurance. This is about the exit plan, exiting poverty while you're alive. Because people don't understand that life insurance can do that for you. Life insurance is just not for death. If you, certain policies, some of the policies that I have, you know, if you get diagnosed with a critical, chronic, or terminal illness, we have what's called a living benefit. You could literally access anywhere from 80 to 100% of your face value. So let's say you took out $1 million life insurance policy and you went to the doctor and he diagnosed you with prostate cancer. He diagnosed you with a terminal, chronic, or critical illness. You literally could access anywhere from 80 to 100% of that face value. That could literally make the difference in the kind of care you can get, the kind of life your family will have. So it's really all of these things, Marvin, that I wanted to really bring to the forefront, because I don't think people, I think when I share, I don't think that people actually, I think they think this is a sale. I think that they think, okay, this is another. No, I'm literally concerned about your life and the life of those you leave behind. Because let's be clear, life insurance benefits the living. Soul insurance benefits the dead.
Yeah.
So you need them both, right? But if your family doesn't have the life insurance benefit to bury you, to continue on, if a husband is the breadwinner in his family, and God forbid his wife loses him, what happens to the family? Does a wolf come in sheep clothing, acting like he really cares? You know what I'm saying? Now you left her vulnerable for somebody else to come in and step in who might not have your family's vision or heart at heart.
Yeah, man, we sure don't want to have to hit the block. We don't want that at all.
Listen, you don't want that. And so we have to prepare. I have 4 daughters, and yes, they're all grown now, but they're still my daughters. I have a grandson that's 3. As a single mother, I still want to make sure that there is enough in place for my children to live, for my grandson to go to college, I still want to make sure that I've done everything I could on this side. Now, what I will digress and say that as a people, African-American people, life insurance is not something we automatically get into. More times than not, we wait till we need it. And if you wait till you need it, it's already too late. Most people have a 2-year contingency. So if you wait until you need it, you might not even surpass the 2-year contingency, right? But other ethnicities, from 15 days old, when a baby comes into the world, insures their children. It literally is pennies to insure, to put life insurance on your child. And it's a whole life policy. It grows cash value. There's IULs, which actually helps with investment. So now you're talking about life insurance and investment. So you're talking about more money. And there's so many ways, so many different policies and opportunities out there. But tonight, I really just wanted to bring awareness, because I'm so tired of, and with COVID now, none of us know.
Yeah.
None of us know. I don't know why why more of us aren't insuring our families right now, because we just don't know. So if death hit your house and you're not prepared, it could literally destroy everything that you have. Because if you're a wife who depends on your husband and he gets taken out, whether it's COVID or however death comes, and he didn't properly prepare his family, he just left you in a very bad place. So now you're crying twice. You're crying once because he's gone, and twice because you can't afford to bury him.
All right, good. Hey, what's good, Rod? Rod's tuning in too. I got a comment from Toshiba as well. Um, I'm glad you went there because I got two questions for you. Shout out to my man Steve Marshall too from the Marshall Group, who was a previous guest that came on and talked about life insurance and why some of the three reasons why we need to have life insurance. And one of the things that he mentioned as well was talking about putting like getting an insurance policy on your newborn or your child because
Absolutely.
once if I'm not mistaken, I believe he said that once you get that policy, it can't go up. They can't change. It won't change over the course of their age or whatever the case may be. Now
Right. So
what made me think of that was the fact that Rod is here, a new parent. So that's something that Rod might want to hear about. And also, Toshiba said that we also need to, along with the exit plan, we need to make a contingency plan for when someone that we love or we ourselves become incapacitated. Not
well
necessarily the other.
and
Mhm.
actually all of that's in here. All of
Okay.
that's in here because you need to have a power of attorney. Somebody, you need to have a healthcare agent, somebody that is able to speak for you if you're rendered that you're incapable. So, like, listen, when my mother was going through what she was going through, the doctor asked me, "Does your mother want to be resuscitated?" I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, is she a DNR?" I had no idea what her wishes were, none at all. So those are conversations, you're absolutely right, that we need to have. Those are conversations that we need to have with our families because if you don't want to be resuscitated, somebody needs to know that. It needs to be documented and in writing because conversation, documentation beats conversation every time. So it's definitely something that you want to have in place.
Hey, that's a good question. Can you see the comments as well? The comments and the questions.
I'm okay. Let
Um,
me go here.
Toshiba asks, does life insurance cover the pandemic? Are you covered by life
Actually,
insurance in the pandemic?
yeah, oh, absolutely. They're paying out the wild wazoozy. If people have life insurance and you rather so if you get level insurance, let's say you call me, you say, "Hey, I want to get a policy," and you actually qualify for a level, that
Oh
means you
wow,
come in,
man.
there's no medical, you come in on the level and it's automatic from day one. From that moment on, you're insured. So if something happens to you from that moment, then you're insured. Now, if you come in under guaranteed, then of course there's a 2-year contingency, but that's mostly people with health issues already, underlying health issues. But a lot of the policies that I sell, that I actually share with the families that I assist in getting life insurance and the exit plan is, no medical, and a lot of them are guaranteed, immediate issue.
And shout out to Ron too. Ron tuning in. Hey, my condolences, bro, man. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. Ron says deep conversation. My cousin been dead since the end of September and still not in the ground because of life insurance.
Oh my
That,
God, are you
that's
serious?
sad. That's sad. Yeah.
See, that right there, that hurts me.
Hmm.
Only because we spend so much money on stuff that don't matter. We can't take a pair of Nikes with us. As a matter of fact, I found out when my mama died, they don't even put shoes on the dead anymore.
Wow.
Okay? So not a pair of shoes she had went with her.
Rod
Nothing.
says sisters. Can you see the questions? I'm sorry.
Go
Did you
ahead.
answer me the first time? Can you see them on the live feed?
I do now.
Okay. Because Rod says, Sister Smart, do you do business insurance?
Do you do business insurance? I actually don't do business insurance. I have a sister that does. I'm life, health, and Medicare supplement. But I do have a sister that does do business insurance. So we could definitely get you hooked up with her.
Okay. What's good, La? Laisha, she tuning in as well. And it's important for older people, grandparents,
Absolutely not
to
Asia.
have multiple
Absolutely.
trusters. Yeah, can assist with
Absolutely
their
not Asia.
affairs and assist with survivors.
That's important for elderly, for your elderly. And that's why this little pamphlet that I created actually assist with that. Do you know how many people die with too much information inside of them and nobody don't know how to access bank accounts? Nobody don't know how to access passwords to get into certain things. This little pamphlet right here allow you to write those things down and put it in a safe place that you can have it for somebody, you know, to know. It'll actually list, it has here the questions that you need to ask. Who's your power of attorney? Who's your healthcare agent? On the back, it asks you, you know, where. Listen, I know y'all gonna sound crazy, but I've already put my whole funeral together. I picked out my own casket. I wrote my own obituary. The funeral home got its own policy, not my girl's policy. I don't want them. I did a $20,000 burial expense policy, but I don't even want them putting $20,000 in the ground. Mm-hmm. You understand? Don't bury that money. But I did it myself. And people will say, well, what? Listen, it's easier to do it now because it's so light. Mm-hmm. I don't want my girl to have to go and try to pick. That was hard for me. Picking out a casket for my mother, trying to find her what she want to wear. Pictures. I don't want them to just put any kind of pictures in my obituary. I put it together and I don't want just anybody speaking over me either. So I put a contingency in place in case the pastor that I want ain't there. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't want just anybody stepping up talking about, I want to say something. No, these are the people that I want to say something.
Yeah. And it's funny that you would say that because years ago I did the same thing on Facebook. You know, I got a dark sense of humor, but I was always the type of person like, you know, how many times we go to funerals and we watching these people say all this here and they would have did this here or that would have had them cracking up and all that did. And I would always envision the person that we talking about or reminiscing over would be in heaven like, no, I wouldn't. I didn't even like that color. Like I didn't even like that fragrance for you. You talking about how much I love it. So what I did the same exact thing and people thought I was crazy by me doing my own obituary. You know what I mean? Because I don't want people guessing how I feel about them when I'm dead and gone. I want you to know while I'm still alive and well how I feel about you. So I just thought it was kind of funny that you would actually say that.
Absolutely. Rochelle, you're right. Medical, that's how I learned about that in the hospital when my mama, you know, when my mama was dying, and on her way, you know, transitioning, they were asking me that. And so as her oldest daughter, I was the one that have to make all of those decisions. So it was really hard because I didn't know what she wanted. But I definitely know that it's easier. My girls did not understand it, but it was easier for me to do it now than for them to have to do it later. Understand? Mm-hmm. All they have to do is
show up. Because just think about it. I mean, in time, especially if you have some type of relationship, it's bad enough having to deal with the fact that someone that's near and dear to you are gone.
Right.
Not to mention that you have to prepare them. You know, I always remember the scene in Idlewild, even though it's just a movie, but I can't imagine, you know, my girl, my fiance dying and I'm in the mortician business and I would have to prepare her, you know, or like the father had to prepare his wife 14 hours and do the makeup and everything else of the deceased of someone that you actually love. That I can't even imagine what that would have to be like.
Let me tell you, I preached my mother's funeral. Mm-hmm. I was there when my girlfriend LaShonda did her hair. I didn't think I could do it because I didn't really like funeral homes and going to see the dead and all that stuff, but it was my mother. So it was different for me. But what I realized going through that process, because everybody kept saying, I don't know how you did it. You're so strong. No, I wasn't strong. It was the strength of God holding me up. But I knew from that experience that I did not want that for my girl. I did not want them to have to do it. So I took the initiative to do that myself. So if you're listening and you're under the sound of my voice and you let's say you don't have a life insurance policy or you don't have an exit plan in place, you can inbox me. I would gladly have that conversation with you. The information is free. It don't cost you anything. And the policy benefits you and your family. So you're not paying me anything. We're getting your family protected. And I think when we prioritize, that's when we'll realize, look, we owe it to our families. If we tell them we love them in life, we owe it to them to secure them in death. You know,
Absolutely.
Roger just had that little boy, and Roger just bought that big house, and Roger just married that beautiful wife. But God forbid, if death was to come and snatch Roger right up out of here, he got to make sure that he dotted all his I's and crossed his T's, and he protected his family so no wolf will come in and take advantage of a situation. So,
Absolutely.
and I just said it because I saw he was up there, but I do know that this is important for us to have those things in place. If you don't, you put your family in a greater bind than they have to be.
Let me see. We got some comments coming in here. Rochelle said, just disappeared on me. She says, I feel the same way. I'm afraid of dead people, but I didn't experience that with my mom. I loved her until they took her away.
Oh
Absolutely.
my
Yeah.
God, do you know we did the same thing? I when my mother passed, first of all, I didn't want nobody to touch her. I cleaned her up. When she did her final release, the nurse was there. It was a lot. She said, I got it. I said, no, I got it. And I cleaned her. She said, let me help you. I got my mother cleaned up. I washed her up. I did her hair, and I stayed there. And they wasn't supposed to let me stay there, but I actually got to stay there until the actual funeral home came to pick her up. I watched them tag and bag her. It was the hardest thing I had ever had to do in my life. But I do know this, that my mother was ready to meet Jesus. I know that my mother, she might not have had adequate life insurance, but her soul insurance was sealed. Her soul insurance was sealed. And so I want to encourage you. I can't really watch the live and all that you're doing, but I really hope that people are really taking this serious, because this was really just on my heart. The crazy part is, just on today, a friend of mine contacted me because I reached out to her in reference to getting some insurance for her and her family. She reached out to me today, and she may be watching, she may not be, because of course this just happened, so I doubt that she is. But when she contacted me to let me know that through an accident she lost her husband, it floored me, because she kept talking about getting with me to get it, but they never did. That's what took me back. Like, we had the conversation, but there was no action taken, because we all think we got time. But there's only one person that knows the time, and that's the Lord. And we just got to be ready. We just got to be ready. What questions you have?
Like the old saints, like the old song used to say, for the old saints, don't let it be said. Too late.
Absolutely.
Come on, Absolutely. Soul insurance. Why is it soul insurance? Now I know I got that. You sure, bro? You sure about that, right?
And the great thing about being a woman of God, you know, when I go into a home, or I'm on a Zoom or a live, because we don't have to come into people's house to sell them life insurance. Some people with because of COVID, they don't want you in the house. So we can set up Zoom, and I help them to get their policies over Zoom or over a call. And the thing about working with me is that it's not just about the sale of the policy, because I let them know that this insurance is going to cover your family, protect your family, but I want to make sure your soul is covered. Do you know Jesus in the pardon of your sin? And I'll pray the sinner's prayer with it, if they receive it, if they allow me to. I'm not going to force it on them, but life insurance protects the living, and soul insurance protects the dead.
Well, I want to get together and talk about both of them face to face. I don't want to do it over no Zoom. I want to be looking in your eyes when we talk about these different types of insurance.
You get a Zoom.
Well, I gotta get a Zoom. I request a face to face.
You know why. Anyway.
But then, so I mean, we're not gonna wrap up like just yet. We got about another 20 minutes left. But how can everybody that's not affiliated with you, some of my friends that may be interested in some of these things, how can they get some of these materials and get in contact, get the pamphlet and the book from you, and set up to actually have a meeting with you?
Absolutely. So my email is info@sharonettesmart.com. info@SharonetteSmart.com, or you can call me at 919-866-8701. 919-866-8701.
Oh, you
And the
bold. Hold on, let me get my
disclaimer,
pen. You giving the
hold
numbers.
on,
I gotta
but
get my
that is that. Look, the disclaimer is that is a business phone.
Oh,
Okay,
all right. Yeah, all
let's
right.
be clear. If you calling me for anything outside of business, I will introduce you to Jesus. Okay, so I wanted to be clear about that. My number is 919-886-8701. That is the number to reach Sharonette Smart, insurance broker. And my email is info@SharonetteSmart.com. I would love to assist you, love to have a conversation with you. You know, some of you have parents that you are responsible for. See, that's what happened with me. I, as the oldest daughter, Marvin, was responsible for my mom's arrangement. Her husband had predeceased her. I'm the oldest. So when the decisions had to be made, I was the one to make. When the funeral home, director wanted that contract signed, I had to sign it. So as older siblings, if you're the older sibling and your parent is still alive, I encourage you, make sure that you have adequate insurance on your mom, on your dad, on your children, on your husband, on your boo them. You know what I'm saying? Get covered, because death is inevitable. And as single mothers, we may not, and listen, this is one of the things I wanted to say. As single mothers, we may not be able to give our kids everything they want in life, but we are in a position to make sure that they're secure in death. Mm-hmm. For fathers, and I don't want to say deadbeat dads, because it's not just single mothers. I have some single fathers that reach out to me as well, because they're raising their children. But when we think about the inevitable, it shouldn't be something that's heartfelt when you live to live again. When you live to live again, there should be joy about the transition and the responsibility of putting things in place.
That's a whole nother conversation, because I've always said that, especially as believers. I've never understood how you call yourself a true believer in Christ when you're living to get to heaven to meet them, but you're so afraid to die. I ain't saying you got to be in no rush, but I know once I get to heaven, once it's all there, I ain't got to worry about sinning no more. I ain't got to worry about backsliding no more. So I would rather get to that part of things than still be dealing with stuff over here and temptations and the different things that we face on this side. Ron says I'm responsible for my mom. I don't like it. I feel you on that, bro. I would imagine I wouldn't like it either, but at the same time, especially after this conversation tonight, I would consider it as a true blessing, because so many other people don't get the chance to do that. Toshiba asked, she said, who are we allowed to get insurance for? Can we get it for my siblings?
Absolutely, you can. I just got it on my baby sister. She has some kidney issues. She is my mother's baby girl, and she is the beneficiary, actually, that my mother left. What she did have for her. And with that being said, my sister didn't have any insurance. So of course, me being the eldest sister, if something happened to her, it's gonna fall on me. She's unmarried as well. And even though she has 2 sons, our young people do not see, even my own girls, 31, 24, 21, and 19. They don't see the significance in having life insurance. But each one of them got a $250,000 life insurance policy.
All right, so while you right there, let me get into that a little bit too. Like, so what all does that entail? Like, Sheba asked the question about the sibling. You said you got her on your baby sister. What all does that entail? Like, can you just go get a policy on her? Do you need her permission to have a life policy on her?
So we wouldn't do it outside of her. It will be a conversation she's inclusive of, because she has to permit it. However,
so it's not like you could go and get insurance on somebody behind their back, so to speak.
Right. Now you got some shiesty agents that might work, but it ain't legal. So we're gonna involve her in this process. Toshiba, if you're interested and willing to insure your sibling, it's important, because if you know that's gonna be a hardship for you or your mom or your dad, and your sibling is living,
or nieces and nephews.
Or nieces and nephews, absolutely. Nieces, nephews, siblings, as long as there is an insurable interest, If there's an insurable interest, you can have life insurance on that person.
Okay. Now that leads me to my follow-up question. Okay, like I'm safe, but I'm also from the hood. I'm from a hood background where things are our reality is totally different. Um, how is it good to let other people know that you do have life insurance? Because we see the different shows, we see where people killing people, taking them out for their life insurance policies. Then they got to do the investigating to see if it was foul play or whatnot case may be. You know what I mean? She wanted to get the bag, so she put a little extra, made a little extra sweet potato pie, sweet potato pie doing Thanksgiving, and now the brother ain't here by Christmas.
I
You know what I
feel
mean?
and that's real. That happens, Sweetie Pie. Miss Sweetie Pie's son. They said that
Exactly.
right. So I get that. I say choose your beneficiary wisely. Choose your beneficiary wisely, because that's who's gonna benefit, not just some random person. So if the person you choose as your beneficiary is capable of killing you and taking you out of here for your policy, you might want to put somebody else in that spot.
Yeah, and that would be my only thing. Like I said, knowing people, because we all know it, and I've talked about that all the time. Like a lot of people don't like that I'm candid, but let's be honest. A lot of us we literally love a lot of shady people. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that be my thought of process. What I want people to know that I would like to think that I could trust my sons, but you can't never really tell what's somebody else's heart, anybody else's mind. That goes my brothers, my mother, my father, anybody other than Jesus Christ. I'm not sure if they have my best interest.
Let me tell you this about beneficiaries. What I found is that most people don't even know they're beneficiaries until the person sees.
Now, see, that sounds smart to me.
Yeah, most people don't even know they as long as they have the important information for the individual that they chose. Mm-hmm. When I don't talk to the beneficiary, I talk to the insured. And so
she would ask real quick before it disappears, what does insurable interest mean?
That means that so that means that as a girlfriend, you don't necessarily have insurable interest on a boyfriend, right? Because there's no commitment in the sense that you're not married. So you can't go, but if that boyfriend was my baby daddy, and my baby daddy was okay with me putting life insurance on him for the sake of the child. So I want to digress. I get this a lot, and I want to say to dads who are not, if you're paying $50 a month, you got 3 children, and that's all the child support you sending. If you got 3 children and $35 is all the courts told you that you're supposed to send, you're wrong. She can't take care of those kids with $30 and $50. I actually have met mothers who that's what they get a month for 3 children. I'm like, how, go figure, right? But I want to say this. If you
$30 a month for child support?
Yes, listen, it's the court's fault. The court has failed the children, period. But I want to say this. If you can't be there for them in life, at least put a policy on yourself, making them the beneficiary or the mother the beneficiary, so that those children, you can be something to them in death. You understand? That it just doesn't make sense that if you're a father and you have children and you don't have life insurance on yourself, making them beneficiaries, then you're out of order. Because the Bible says that a man who don't take care of his children, his family, he's worse than an infidel. So get a life insurance policy and make that baby mama who you can't stand, don't want to talk to, whatever, make her the beneficiary so she take care of them kids and get off your back.
Man, I know there's a whole different conversation, but it's like I gotta get in touch with these women lawyers or whatever court system they in, because I know many of brothers that's on child support, and they getting like literally half, if not more, they check taken. I ain't never heard of no brother only paying on $35.
So this is the deal. You show up to court, you get the not on the outside, because ain't nobody following you to see that you got every pair of Nikes that come out, you blinged out, you dripping. Nobody sees that, but you come to court and say you work at Bojangles and this is all you make. And so you got 3 kids, and so now she gets $35.
Okay, so she asked a good question too. She said, so if he can't even if all he can afford to pay is $35 a month, hypothetically speaking, can he afford life insurance?
No, see, the point is the $35 is what he lets the court know that he can pay. Because the mama actually know that it's a whole different story. Okay, it's a whole different story. But he able to bring them a W-2, and based on all the kids he got, this is what they get. So yeah, he can afford it. I think if you can afford to pay $200 and $300 for some Nikes, and you got a neck full of gold, and you live, yeah, you can afford. Your priorities just ain't straight. We ain't gonna let them.
For the record, everybody ain't living like that. Everybody
not. Everybody not. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. But for those that are, if the stone hits you, just say ouch. Yeah. Period.
Now back to that thing, because I'm lost too. Because you know me, I'm always team men, especially on this show in real life. But get back to that insurable thing that you talk about. So you can have it on a girlfriend, but you can't have it on a boyfriend.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, if that's your baby mama, let's just say it's your baby mama.
Okay.
You know, and you reach out to her, you say, hey, look, I want to get some insurance on you. I'm getting some life insurance. I'm getting some life insurance on me. I'll pay for the policy for you, the premium for you. We need to make sure that we got insurance on us because we're the parent. So if anything ever happened to either one of us, the baby won't suffer. That's insurable interest. The daddy, the mama still have to agree to allow you to insure them. To make
it's pretty much it's pretty much insurance for $1
million, bullseye on their head.
So it's pretty much insurance for parents that are not married.
Well, no, insurable interest is for anybody. If it's your mama, I have insurable interest, so I was able to put life insurance on my daughters. I have insurable interest, so I was able to put life insurance on my father, on my siblings, on a godchild or the godchild or a grandchild that I'm responsible for. I took out a policy on Noah. So Noah has life insurance. So insurable interest means that you actually have a right to insure this person, that there is some kind of connectivity. You just can't go out there.
Hold on, like Aisha says, you can have it on your co-parent, not your living. So is that accurate? She's saying you can have it on a co-parent, not your living, I guess, spouse, whatever the case may be.
No, that's not true. Because of that. Now, if you're saying not your living, are you talking about a husband or are you talking about a boyfriend?
I guess a boyfriend.
So is she asking if her boyfriend is living in the house with her?
No, it's a statement. It's not a question. She's just saying that you can have it on a co-parent, but you can't have it on a living. I guess if y'all living together but not married.
Well, it is not to say that, because we do have some insurance. We do have some companies that say significant other, because now the lines of marriage or lines of partnership is blurred. So yeah, you could do that too. I was just referring to what she was asking too.
Yeah, she said clarification, not facts, because I don't know.
No. That's what I was saying.
But if you can, please ask your question again. Oh no, my bad. All right, so she said, yeah, it was a question.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that, like Asia. I was saying no, if they're living together, yes, they can, because again, it's insurable interest there. So and we have companies that will allow you to insure a significant other. I just was going down one of my carriers. I mean, they got really deep. It doesn't even, like, it could be a foster child or adopted, like somebody that you're taking care of. Maybe it's a kid that you brought in and you've been looking at the no relative or blood connection, but they live with you. You want to look out for them. You want to make sure they straight, so you can. So yes, that's it, Asia. You can.
Toshiba, if you can put that question back up there for me one more time, it disappeared on me too quick before I got a chance to get to it.
What was she asking?
Not sure. That's why I asked you to put it back up. I couldn't see. I didn't get a chance to read it before it disappeared on me. Um. Okay. She said, "What'll happen if you get insurance on someone for whom you don't have insurable interest?"
Well, it would literally be impossible to get insurance on somebody you don't have insurable interest on, because they have to they actually have to agree, right? Because they sign the policy. So if, let's just say, and I don't know who you're referring to when you say not insurable interest, what would not be insurable interest is a boss could not go get a life insurance policy on a worker unless the worker was a key holder in the company. You know what I'm saying? If he was a partnership or something like that, you can't just go take insurance out on random people. There has to be some kind of relationship. So really, insurable interest just means valid relationship.
So in other words, Ron can't just go find a gangbanger like he said.
No,
Insure.
he can't.
Right.
Unless the gangbanger his
Some
role
kind of
model.
connection to him. Gotcha.
Yeah, somebody that has a connection to him.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. But I think everybody for the questions, comments, being as usual, being a part. Let me ask you. All right, so as we get ready to wrap up, and I kind of got into it a little bit with Steve. Now we're talking about why it's important to have life insurance and all that there. And I know especially with people, people don't like to admit it because of social media and everything else. In the climate that we live in, nobody want to be struggling. But let's be honest, a lot of people living from check to check. You know, and we talk about having these things and why it's important. We waste money on this, we waste money on that. So we can't say that we can't afford it. For average, let's say like you said in your situation, you picked out you got a policy for $20,000. How much are we looking at for the average person when we talking about $20,000, a $20,000 to a $50,000 policy? How much is that per month, so to speak, that's coming out your pocket?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I just quoted for a young man tonight. He's 58 years old, non-smoker, and he wanted a final expense policy. So I quoted him on a 10,000, 20,000, 30, and 40,000. At the max, the 40,000 for his age was $166 a month, but on the low, 10,000 was only $42. 20,000 was $82. So it's affordable. And the thing about life insurance is you get what your budget can afford. I talk to people all the time and they want $1 million policy, but when I quote them the premium for $1 million, now they don't want insurance at all. That's crazy. You can't afford $1 million, but you could get 100,000. You understand? You could get 100,000. You could get 250,000. But you tell me. So if I was to call you or Toshiba or anyone else, and they say, my question then was, what does your budget allow you? Because I don't want you to go get a policy that you want because you see the face value number, but you let it lapse because you can't keep up the premium. Mm-hmm. I'd rather sell you a $10,000 death burial policy and your family has something to work with, right? Than to sell you a $50,000 policy and you let it lapse.
Yeah, and that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? If you're a parent with any children 18 and under, you should have life insurance on your children. 18 and under, and the reason I'm saying that is because once they're 18, like he was saying, if they come in as children with their policy, their premium, it never goes up to 100, some 102, 105. They can keep that same dollar amount. Noah has a $50,000 life insurance policy, but at the age of 18, God forbid, if he was physically ill, he could double his face value and still not be denied coverage. People wait till they get all these sicknesses, all these things wrong with them, and then they get these high premium quotes. Whereas if you do it right now, while you got great physical condition, where you're in your right mind, you can do this, and you can pay for it, then get it.
Yeah. And that's good because even I know it's just a personal, it's an opinion, but in my reality, I find it very ironic that in society or the country that we live in, you have to have or you're supposed to have car insurance, which you might not ever need, but you don't have to have life insurance. Like, where does make sense to me? But
But then I
I might
tell
be a
you,
little,
but then when we were talking, then I say it's crazy how people value their automobile more than they do their life. They'll
yeah,
go to a car lot and buy a new car. The dealership cares more about the car than it cares about you because it won't even let you drive off the lot without coverage on the car. But
absolutely.
you will get in the car behind the wheel with no coverage on yourself. So the car gets covered and the car replaced. But if you were to die in an accident in the car, then your family suffers.
That's crazy to me. It makes no sense whatsoever. We got one more question that just came in from Toshiba. She said, "Is term life the best?"
Well, it just depends. It depends on several things. It depends on age because some term policies can be, well, whole life policies are the best when it comes to getting something age cash value. If you have a whole life policy, great. But term is just as good if you have one like a return of premium. All of my girls with their $250,000 life insurance policies have what is called a return of premium, which means 30-year term. I did a 30-year term on them all. So when Sequoia gets 61, because she's 31, in 30 years when she's 61, she'll actually get a lump sum check for 33,000 and something, right? At 61, lump sum because her term would have come to an end. But now she has a lump sum that she can go buy. She's still young enough to get insurance. So she can go get some insurance, final expense. But she now has a lump sum of money that she can actually take and invest, right? So while they're young like that, the return of premium policies are the best to get. Return of premium policies are the best to get.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I definitely appreciate you. Like I used to say, great show. Thanks, Sharonette, for sharing such valuable information. Um,
Thank
she
you
said
for
that's
supporting
expensive.
me. Huh?
Um, Now, so she was saying, I guess she was talking about the numbers that you were giving. She said that's expensive. Erica Janelle, what's good, Erica? She says I'm gonna get another one. I think she had mentioned in the comments earlier. It disappeared on me, but I think she said that she has life insurance on her child's father. I have three already on her
Absolutely.
children.
Erica, smart woman. You can never have too much. At the end of the day, you can never have too much. If you have children that are underage and they want to go to college, or you want to make sure that there's something in place for them, you can never have too much. At some point, my friend was like, how many policies are you going to buy, Sharonette? I want to give my kids what I never had.
Mhm.
And the only way I'm going to give them what I never had is that I make sure that I'm insured well. So
Makes
they're
sense.
covered. Yeah, Noah won't have to work for nobody unless he wants to. He's covered. He is my beneficiary. He's covered.
Mhm. Well, girl, I definitely appreciate you, and thanks for taking out the time to do this. Um, Erica says I'm wealthy dead, laugh out loud, and it's cheap because I'm healthy and I have the ones through employer, laugh out loud.
So let me
Um,
tell you about that employer insurance, okay? I'm glad she said it, and I know we're going to wrap this up.
mhm.
As long as you got that job, Erica, you got that policy. Don't lose the job,
Because it's a wrap.
because that's the only policy that you're depending on, then that might not work out so good for you.
Mhm.
Because you're involved in a group claim.
Yeah,
There's an opportunity to get it if it's offered, but more times than not, most people can't afford it. You should always have a policy outside of what you have at work.
yeah. She just said I have two outside the job.
Great, awesome. That is so awesome because again, we saw COVID wipe people whole companies out.
Hmm.
So a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people are without jobs even today. So you have to make sure that you do have some type of coverage outside of what your employer provides. But I am available info@SharonetteSmart.com, 919-886-8701. If you want to schedule a free consultation, we can talk about the exit plan. I'd love to be able to send you out one of these, mail you out one of these, so you can kind of see the kind of things that you should have in a safe place. You should have account numbers and checking account numbers, and go ahead and if you got life insurance, those policies and stuff need to be in place. A lot of people that they got stuff scattered, and so if something was to happen to you, we just found out that one of our insured passed away, and the family struggled to bury them, not knowing that they had a policy that would have taken care of the funeral and them, but nobody knew where anything was. Nobody knew that it existed. So it's important that you sit down and put that stuff. The exit plan is just that. It's a combination of information that is put together in one place with the individual that you've entrusted with.
I like that. I'm gonna definitely get with you, because I can't see all that stuff good. So I need my in person, because I can't see good on the Zoom screen. I want to be able to.
I'm gonna give you this in person. I'm gonna give this to you. I'm gonna put you on my calendar.
All right, we're gonna make that happen. I definitely want to get you back on the show in the near future, so we talked about life insurance tonight and the benefits of it, the exit plan, which is beautiful. I like the way you did that, and thanks for the flyer and everything else. But like I said, I definitely want to get the material and get with you on that. But next time I want to talk about some of that soul insurance that you're talking about. I'm gonna let you let you run loose on that there. We can talk about things like that there.
Policy number, Romans 10, 9 through 10. That's your policy number.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything that you wanted to say to the people before we get out of here?
I would like to say, take action. Take action. Mm-hmm. Don't wait until it's too late. GoFundMe is not life insurance. Get covered.
I love it. We hear you too. Again, thanks for you guys. Again, that's Sharonette Smart on Facebook. Other outlets, please contact her. Get some of this information. The least you can do is, like back in the day. I remember coming out of high school. They used to always have the recruiters in the different military recruiter office. The very least you could do is sit there and listen to the information. You know, that's the way I look at it. You know what I mean? And it's better to have the information and not use it than to need it and don't have the information. So I would implore you guys to reach out to her again, as well as my man Steve Marsh from the Marshall Group, who was on the last time. You know, reach out to these people and let's do better as a people. Let's do a better job as a people, making sure that we doing better and we all winning together, making sure that our nieces and nephews and our friends, family, all right, yo, bro, you got your situation taken care of. So if anything happened to you, God forbid, you know, the family good. Let's do some. Let's have some of these uncomfortable conversations that we don't want to talk about, but are very necessary.
That's it right there. The term uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. And it's the legacy for me. It's the legacy. I don't want to leave a legacy of debt for my girls, for my grandson. I want them to be able to take care of whatever they need to take care of with what I have entrusted and left for them. So I built a legacy for them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, thanks again. What's good, Nicole? Thanks again for everybody tuning in. Thank you, Sharonette. I appreciate you. You know, for giving us this information. I'm honored that you would take the time out to do this, and I thank you for your words of encouragement. You've been rocking out with me since day one. Let me know that you support me, man. And I can't tell you how much that means to me. I really appreciate it. And not just you, everybody else out there. You know, I don't want to start naming names, but I thank you guys for trusting me and dedicating these Tuesday nights and this hour, you know, to share with me. And we laugh and we get some good information just like we did. But we have a laugh or two along the way and talk about some things that, you know, it's not always easy to talk about, but things that need to be talked about. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's not light. It's like, but I'd like to think that we have all good conversations on here that people want to talk about. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, not everybody might not want to talk about a particular topic, but at the end of the day, it's something that still needs to be talked about, whether it's relevant to our immediate lives or not. So I thank you guys for taking out the time to share your evening with me. Again, share this show on your page if you don't mind, so that your friends can see it as well, and continue throughout the week. I'm seeing those numbers going up, but they're not going up as fast as I would like. I'm not complaining at all. But if you guys please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show. I finally caught up to present, you know what I mean? And hopefully this show here will be on the YouTube channel sometime tomorrow. But I got all the other previous shows that they would allow me to upload. Some shows they wouldn't allow me to upload to YouTube because of trademarks or whatever. I think I had a show that I did in February doing Black History Month, where I played the I Have a Dream speech. They wouldn't let me do that because I don't own the rights to the I Have a Dream speech. Of course, they're gonna be super petty when it comes to things of that nature there. But other than that, for the most part, it was only I think maybe 3 or 4 shows that we previously done that they wouldn't allow me to upload for whatever reasons. But other than that, all the other previous shows are on the YouTube channel. So please subscribe to the Marvin Bennett Jr. Show. That's the channel on YouTube. And as I normally sign off, continue to remember that any day that God allows you to see, He gives you 2 things. He gives you a choice and a chance. What you gonna do with the chance what choice are you gonna make with the chance that He gives you? And as usual, in signing off, DeAndre and Lisha, know that Daddy loves you intentionally, but I also love you unconditionally. Till next week, peace.